My name is Akshay Sura. Been doing Sitecore for a long time, so if you need any help or guidance or anything like that in the Sitecore space, just be sure to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you guys. All right, so today we're talking about the headless content delivery using Sitecore Experience Edge. This is a new product Sitecore launched early February. So Sitecore Experience Edge is essentially a delivery layer which sits on top of either Sitecore Content Hub or Sitecore Experience, which is the XM that we know of and have been using for a long time. What Sitecore Experience does is it enables us to get access to the content in either of those systems using a GraphQL endpoint. The data itself is distributed on a global edge network, so it's fast, it's local to you, and it's really easy to get to. So any device or program which can access the web and make REST-based calls or an API call can talk to this Experience Edge. So it's basically limitless. You could do it on a Raspberry Pi if you need to. The Content Hub version of Sitecore Experience Edge was released February 9th. The experience management is coming up. That's what they're trying to get to market so that the people on the regular CMS platform can also use it to push their content up. So their sites, their mobile apps can also use it. It helps it a whole lot more because right now people are spending a lot of money on delivery, on CDs, and God knows what. So it'll just make it a little bit easier. I'm not going to read through all of this, but essentially what it does is just gives us access to our data so we can build different apps, build them really fast, be able to respond to market needs, be able to build in quite a few of the channels really easily without having to do a lot of headache. There's no API for Experience Edge. It's basically data being available on a GraphQL endpoint, so it just makes your life super simple and super easy. This is how like an overall architecture kind of looks like. So you have Content Hub and Experience Management on the left. They either of them or both of them, if your organization has it, can expose data via GraphQL to different CDNs channels, as in mobile app, VR, AR, I don't know, your kiosks, anything which can make a web call can call these endpoints and pull data out. That's the basic power of this, is that it's available, it's extremely fast, and it's available right now for you to use it. The way it works is I'm going to concentrate more on this Sitecore Content Hub part because it's already pushed and that's one of my favorite products. So basically you have access to two different APIs, a preview API and a delivery API. Delivery API has everything you published from Content Hub, whether it went through workflow rules, whether, however it did end up, it ended up in the final state, which is ready for consumption by your consumer. So that goes to the delivery API. Everything which is pending, which is currently in a different workflow state or is not final, along with everything else, is viewable by the preview API. So you have access to both of them. The way we can kind of see it is we can look at the Graphql Playground, which is provided by the Experience Edge. So I hope you guys can see my screen on this one. So essentially, if you haven't used Content Hub before, it's kind of split up into three parts. Well, four really, but three mainly. It's the PCM. You maintain product content management. You have all the assets, which is the DAM, and then you have CMP, which is the structured content you can build based on templating and content modeling. So today we'll be looking into products because it's easier. in the sense that the data is already there. I don't have to create custom types. So in order for us to access this, I think that one of the most powerful features Sitecore has given by enabling Experience Edge is not only do they give access to CMP, but they also give you access to PCM data. So you have all the product data. So in here, you have two GraphQL endpoints. One is a preview endpoint, so you can pull the data from preview, and one is a delivery endpoint, and you can pull data from the delivery endpoint. The delivery endpoint right now doesn't have that many products. As you can see, it only has like 3 or 4. But the preview has a ton because all the pending ones, all the ones which are published, everything is shown up in preview. Again, I'm not quite sure how many of you have done what do you call GraphQL before, but it's super simple. I am not an expert, but I can tell you that it is very, very easy to look at products or anything you choose to. So the best part about GraphQL is that it's self-documenting as you're doing things with it. So you could, in the docs here itself, you could take a look at, okay, you know what, I want to look at, let's see, a blog. Blog instantly tells you that the all blog collection has page info, how many you have, and a collection of blogs. So if you click on that, it will to show you, okay, you're gonna get the actual blog item. The blog item itself has all of these attributes. We might want to pull the body, the quote, the title, but then what about the assets? So you might want to pull any linked assets or things of that sort. So you can choose to go down a route saying, oh, I want all the brief assets, I want all the content to link assets. Now that's a collection as well. Goes to an asset. Asset has all of these attributes. Again, you want to get public links. So it goes on, but basically it's all documented. No one needs to tell you what to do. You just look at the schema and you start adding your attributes in here and you can test it out. All you need is a token key. I'm only showing part of it because I don't want anyone to use it. But it's super simple and just lets you do things a lot easier with it. So you can, yeah, by default, when you get an instance, you get access to the delivery and the preview endpoint. Coming back to which option would I choose and why? So when I mean by option, I'm talking about Experience Edge for Content Hub or Experience Edge for Experience Management. And my answer is super simple always. It's Experience Edge for Content Hub. Content Hub to me helps you deliver true omni-channel content. And we're no longer in a part where we are very focused on just web. There are instances where you're pushing your content to web, you're pushing your content to mobile, you're sharing parts of your content with third parties, syndicating content. So depending on your situation, obviously, it makes sense to either use Experience Management or Content Hub. But what we are seeing is all the newer projects, the mindset of the customers right now is to build that omni-channel content and deliver it to anything. So if they want to share it with their co-partners, if they want to push it to their mobile app or anything else, they're able to do that. And that is the reason why I love doing things on Content Hub because of the omni-channel capabilities and the added benefit of PCM content being available on the Experience Edge just makes it all the more powerful. So I would do that. I would use Next.js and I would use Vercel. I am not a JavaScript expert, but I can tell you that it isn't that hard to pick it up. Obviously, it'll take a long time to master it like we have with .NET, but you could use anything you like, but this is something which I prefer. Now, pretty much every word on this slide is what is being um, pushed by Sitecore, right? So I didn't add anything on here, and as you can see, it says the omnichannel thing twice. If I had my way, I would fill the whole page with omnichannel, and that is a very powerful point. I know a lot of us might not get the chance to influence a decision by the marketing department or the IT department in purchasing something. But if we do have to think of it in a broad way. We no longer can think of, a web delivery and a web CMS. We have to think of channel as like a individual entity. And using this in what do you call an omni-channel way helps us deliver things using the Jamstack architecture. Again, Jamstack architecture does not have to involve JavaScript framework like Next.js or Vue. You could do it in .NET Core if that's what you choose to. But in the architectural perspective with microservices, it just makes absolute sense. You can customize this the best way you can. You can find the best of breed tools which are friendly to the marketing organization as well as the IT. So you are no longer bound by, oh, you have to use this search, you have to use this forms, you have to use this list management, right? So you have your content as one piece. You can go find the search which works for you best in terms of financially as well as functionality wise. You could look at things like Elastic or Algolia, which makes it a lot easier, and you can personalize in your search results too. You could find your own form solution. You can find your own connections to your PIM and CRM and the whole shebang. It just helps you a lot. And I think it just opens up right now, knowing what I've known. I've trained so many people in my life. I've worked in companies where we work with hundreds of Sitecore developers at one time. Not all of them were trained. Some of them struggled quite a bit to pick up the Sitecore API or just understand Sitecore. For me, myself, when I first started back in 2007, it took me a while to get into Sitecore just because I didn't understand it at first. And once we got trained, I kind of understood what it is. So this basically opens it up a little bit more for everyone. We have the dam coming in. There's a huge, once you get into the content modeling and creation, it just like it's similar to templates in a way, but it's a little bit more interesting and powerful when you start looking at data as a reusable entity rather than just for web. So I think it just helps the infrastructure, the cost of infrastructure scaling. You don't have to worry about these things because this content is delivered and distributed globally with the Sitecore Experience Edge. So from a performance perspective, it's there. All you would need from your end is whichever channel you're pushing to, you just have to make sure that channel is deployed in a similar manner where the speed won't be an issue. And I know a lot of us have dealt with performance issues in the past. All right, we talked about omnichannel. Let's let's speed it up a little bit. All right, so um, a lot of the time, and I think I've said this before too, it was kind of annoying where every single time we talk about something, a different channel, we talk about, here's it in the mobile channel, or this is the AR, this is the VR, but it's all simulated, it's not never pushed out, right? So we wanted to take this opportunity to say, what can we do? So we built a mobile app using Flutter. It took about 4 days, and it's not the most complicated mobile app, but from design to getting it published to the app stores, it took us about 4 days to build and pushing it. Obviously, Apple is being a little bit difficult for us just because their feedback, and actually they've rejected the app now. Their feedback is that the app is too simple and it doesn't have any purpose, which is absolutely true. But for us, the purpose is to showcase the demo, right? And they don't like the word demo. Anyways, we did get it published on the Android store, so if you want to take a look at it, you absolutely can. Um, it's published there. I think there's quite a few people who downloaded it as well, so I know that it's something people have checked it out. What I can show you, and let me see if I can do it again. Pa, pa, pa. Is I'm going to show you a demo on my phone to there. That's my phone. It is my phone, so it's real. So here, as you can see, it's pretty simple. You go here, it says, we have some content from Content Hub. So we have a piece of content which we can show. This is from the delivery side of it, as you can see. And then now if I switch to preview, you can see that the preview comes up. Preview has a lot more products, obviously, than delivery does. And this is something which is interesting because as you can see, I can switch back and forth and it's pulling data every single time. So it's not something which is cached on the mobile phone. We can make it more optimized by caching it, but what I'm trying to show you is it is fast. And mine is not a production instance. Mine is a development instance. And so that was one thing I wanted to show you guys. And today we'll actually get into the code of this. A similar thing to look into is we pushed out. So we pushed out this GitHub repo. It's free, it's public, it's out there. You guys, I'll give you a QR code and the URL in a second. It has code to build a Next.js app using GraphQL and Sitecore Experience Edge. It talks about all the things you could do, the base setup for the Next.js and all of the fun stuff. And the link to the demo site is right there as well. So what I wanted to show you is just like how I have preview and delivery over here. So this is, as you can see, preview mode as false. I get 4 products. I'm going to switch to preview mode in here, and it's preview mode on my phone. And as you can see, it's exactly the same. So all the products match up on preview and delivery. Both of them are getting pushed from the same source, right? What we can do is, let me go back here, is I want to show you a couple of things. So as you can see, we do have products, and whenever you see this green cloud with a check mark in it, it basically says that it shows that this product was pushed to the experience edge and it's available on the edge. The reason why this product is on the experience edge is because the product is in approved state. That is the only reason why it's there. You can define based on your entity what conditions does it have to go through in order for it to, first you have to specify if a content, if an entity is eligible to go to the edge. And if it is eligible to go to the edge, you can specify the conditions. So you could say it needs to be in approval state. It needs to, basically you could specify rules for it, and you can definitely do that. And as you can see, only 4 products met the rules, so 4 products are on the edge. Nothing else is on the edge at this moment, right? So what we can do is I could say, you know what, I'm going to go here. I will manually change it without the workflow. I'll take this out. I'll set it to approved. And remember, the one we're doing it is for the chocolate granola bar. I will save it, come back here, and we will wait for this. So it's getting pushed at this moment, as you can see. And what we're going to try to do is see as soon as that gets pushed, I want to be able to check if it did happen or not. So it doesn't take that long. So I come back here, and then if as you could, it's already available on the delivery, and you can actually see that. And that's one thing which is interesting. The other one, which is a little bit interesting to see, is, so if I go back in here into this product at this moment, right? Talking about omnichannel, not all pieces of content need to be used everywhere. And that's the thing which we have to remember, right? So for instance, when you have a rich text, you can't really use it in a mobile app without cleaning a lot. So this is rich text, and this is, let's say, web only at this moment, right? I'm going to pick this piece of content. The reason I'm giving you this spiel is the way we coded it. We used one field for mobile and one field for the web delivery. So if I do this and save, so essentially what I'm looking for is when when this gets updated on the edge, that short description is available for me on the mobile app and long description is available for me on the web app. And as you can see, this guy is right here. And I will refresh right now. The content gets updated. Let me go back here. Oh, it was actually there, sorry. So go back there and mobile only. And you can see I didn't have to do quite a lot of things for this to happen. It's super fast. I didn't do any magic. I didn't have smoke and mirrors. It's super simple to make the content. It's super simple to do the updates, and it's just plain simple, right? You don't have to do much at all. So yeah, if you want it, go ahead and try out the mobile app. The QR code is right there. If you find anything, if you think of anything, have any questions, just reach out. The next one is a little bit interesting. So a statement was made a while back that in the Sitecore community world that you cannot personalize in Jamstack. You absolutely can. There's a whole industry and there's a whole set of APIs and functionality available for you to do that. And one of the best example is who Sitecore bought recently. So Sitecore bought Boxever and 451. 451 is the headless commerce. Boxever is the personalization engine, which specializes using AI. So we had a call with Dave, who's the chief product officer for Sitecore right now, but he's the previous CEO and co-founder of Boxever. Honestly, based on what they showed us, I can only see where this is. So Boxever to me tells me that I don't need the experience analytics anymore. I wouldn't need to go through setting up XConnect and all of that fun stuff, right? Performance shouldn't be an issue because that's how they built it. They built it for performance. They built it to be seamless and intuitive. It was architected for the cloud. So what they have is that they have a customer data platform engine which aggregates all the data from all the channels, so mobile, web, anything, kiosks, anything you can think of. It gets all the data and aggregates it and builds a unified customer profile. And what they're saying that they're able to do is then they're able to segment the customer, get the analytics for the customer, and they are able to automatically present a unique experience for the customer based on the customer situation right now, and then be able to push it out either on their website or mobile push notification to the customer. So to me, the possibilities are endless. I really think that I can't wait to get on. I know they published a course on there on the learning portal. I've only gone through it a little bit, but to be honest, I need an instance in order for me to really learn. I can't just click a bunch of buttons, but it looks very, very promising. The one thing I would say though is that I don't know how many of you have heard about Uniform, but Uniform provides you that capability right now. So I know that they have a product which is specific to Sitecore. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Uniform, which gives us the personalization capability for Jamstack and headless based solutions. So what we tried to do is we tried to do that. One second, let me open up the two screens again. I'm going to go to, so it's pretty simple. I have a personalization setup on Uniform with 4 intents. Each intent maps to a product family inside of Content Hub. So if I go into product families, we have 4 product families, and those are on the demo site on the homepage. I have 4 product families. By default, the homepage is supposed to show you a personalized view of the category you're interested in. This is our first visit because I'm in private, so it doesn't know what to personalize. So obviously it's not showing me what to personalize. Uh, so what we did is we set up 4 intents. Each intent is set up so that it matches a product category. In here, we have two signals. Signals are basically how you collect behavior. One of them is based on behavior, which is, by someone going to a page, we are collecting, oh, this guy likes this category. The other one is by running query strings. So when you're running campaigns, Google campaigns, advertising campaigns, you want people come back to your site using UTM campaign URL parameter, and that's what we want to capture. The rest of the guys, we only have one signal, so we are just basing it on behavior itself, and it's super simple. You can make changes to it, but all of these are set at a weight for normal signal, just and some of them can be heavy, some of them can be light, depending on how you want to weigh them. So for instance, right now, oh man, I disabled it, didn't I? Yes, I did. 1 second. Let me see if I can. Hold on. All right. So go back here. Let me refresh real quick. So right now, all this is telling me is, we have two signals for Fruitful Lemonade, one for each other's. Right now, I don't know what you like because all of them are weighted 0, is what it's telling me right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into Powerful Granola. And when I do that, you will notice that right now on my specific profile for this user, we know that he liked Powerful Granola because he went to the Powerful Granola section of the site. So if I go back to the home page doesn't record behavior at this moment, and we'll look at the code of how to do that, but it is able to show what we like, and it knows that I like Powerful Granola. Say if we were to go, if I came from, oh, I wish I could type. If I came from a campaign URL for Google ad, any other ad, now you can see that my weightage is higher because on the actual campaign, what we did do is for Fruitful Lemonade, we set it to strongest. So it's weighted heavily, and it's currently set to once per visit. I could do once all time, every time, whatever that way your weight gets added. So this way my weight is going to be 100 for this visit. The next time I come, I could add another 100 if I added Fruitful Lemonade. But it's kind of showing you that there's different kinds of signal. If I go to Healthful Chips at this moment, you can see I have 50 for Healthful Chips, 50 for Powerful Granola, and 100 for Lemonade. So if I go back, I'll still show Lemonade. I'll go back to Healthful Chips again. And now you can see Healthful Chips is gaining more popularity because I visited that page a lot more. So when I go back to the home page, it will show me Healthful Chips because that's the one which I'm showing more activity on. So the more I go to a specific spot and the behavior is recorded, the score goes up, and it kind of gets really interesting. Uh, Let me share some code, and obviously this code is available like I mentioned, but I wanted to quickly go through it with you guys. So we already looked at that. That's not a problem. So this is our homepage. We're not doing anything magical, and again, this code is available to you guys. We uh, have the uniform dev installed already. I have a couple of blog posts which talk about how you can configure it, how you can set it up. So you're more than happy to go through those. But here, what we're trying to do is I don't want to record behavior, but I do want to personalize based on what we know about the user. And based on what Uniform thinks they need to provide, I'm basically pushing to this component saying, hey, I want you to show this specific category and don't track behavior because on the homepage, I just want it to show what the person's preference is. But on any other page, like the product category page, we're using the same exact rendering, But here, what we are saying is, hey, by the way, show this category because we're currently in healthful chips or granola. Show that specific category, but track behavior because I want to know what it is. And all we are doing in here in product category is if they want to track behavior, we're just calling, hey, track the behavior. The category is the tag, the intent tag for the category, which is basically links back to the PCM's product family. That's all it is, and it's super, super simple. And I know it looks complicated, but once you get into it, you run it locally, it just becomes all that much easier. And I can promise you that because I went through the same exact journey. All right. So I will answer questions for you guys because I'm sure you have some. This is the repository that has all the code for the website. Again, pretty much everything has been shared. There's nothing in here which hasn't been shared. The only thing you would probably need in there is your connections to your instance of the Experience Edge. So those environment variable parts I removed myself, but as long as you follow the instructions, you should be able to get into that. Before I wrap up, so we have a couple of webinars coming up. We have one which talks about the modular DXP and all of the fun stuff. So you can go to that one. The QR code is on there. There's another one coming up on, SEO strategies for Sitecore, which is kind of really interesting. If you guys want to jump into that, the QR code for that is over there as well. Again, my name is Akshay Sura. If you guys ever have any questions or anything you need answered, I'm more than happy to help you. So lay it on me. Give me questions. No questions? Come on, I can't be doing that good of a job.
Akshay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Just like you keep saying that it was easy and it's easy, but what was the hardest part to make this work?
Learning Next.js. So I think the pulling the data from GraphQL endpoint was very seamless and very easy once you started looking at how the API itself, I mean, there's nothing special about the one they provide, right? Any GraphQL endpoint provides you documentation. As you build it, the documentation is built with the endpoint. So it was easy once you started getting into it. At first, I was like, the initial instinct was to ask someone a question saying, hey, how do I get all the products? How do I get all this? But once you start writing that and looking at the documentation, that became easy. So that wasn't a problem. Um, Pushing things through Experience Edge wasn't an issue. So at that point, it was similar to any other headless we've ever dealt with. So you had the data at the endpoint. The difficult part was one to figure out, and there were several reasons why we chose Next.js, but one to figure out how to do it in Next.js. Would it have been easier in .NET Core? Absolutely, because we all know .NET and we could easily spin up a .NET Core and we can figure it out, right? So you could definitely do that. From a personalization perspective, if you haven't implemented uniform personalization before or any other personalization other than Sitecore personalization, you do have to think of things differently. So all the others where if you're looking at Optimizely, Google Optimize, they all talk about intents and signals, which is a very standard term for a lot of the other technologies outside of Sitecore. So it's a little bit difficult to understand it at first, but once you set it up, once you start playing with it, it gets easier too. So there are a couple of challenges, but you're never going to learn it unless you jump into it.
Yeah, for sure. The documentation was good for the uniform and the personalization stuff.
Yes, yeah, there's plenty of documentation available.
Yeah, nice. Nice, thank you.
Yeah, Akshay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Akshay, how flexible is it to implement Jamstack in on-premise environment?
You're getting chopped out, man. Can you repeat that one more time for me?
Yeah, my question is like, how flexible is it to implement Jamstack in on-premise environment? For example, banking or insurance, where they have on-premise, setup.
Yeah, so what you can do, and I think that is what, so in these environments, are they even, I would probably say in a Sitecore world, if you want to do on-premise, then you probably have to go down the JSS route and open up the API that way. Is the only thing I can think about. Because by nature, when you're talking about headless, when you're talking about microarchitecture based deployment, it is all public cloud. So I mean, obviously here, what we do for especially like government clients who have similar requirements, right? So they have, when you're dealing with like federal government, they want the cloud to be located in their data center or located in a specific data center in the country. So for instance, for one of the Canadian customers, it has to be located in Canada. That's the basic requirement. And then they have to go through a lot of testing for that to happen. So the headless vendor has to provide that capability. So you can do it in different ways depending on your thing. But if you want on-prem coming from your Sitecore servers, then you would probably do either JSS or you would get the uniform product for Sitecore, which also opens up that API for you for personalization perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I just mentioned that the limitation here is the cloud platform. So in this case, it would be Content Hub. You can't. There's no way you can host that on premise, right? It has to be cloud hosted. You can host your Jamstack hosting that you build on prem if you really wanted to. More likely, what you would do is use Microsoft Azure, maybe with by networking that off, right? So separating that off. But you can still build the Jamstack capabilities. It's that cloud, it's that cloud system, which is limitation. So if, as Akshay said, if you went down the Sitecore route, still go down the Jamstack route, especially with 10.1, they have the new Next.js integration as well, for example. So yeah, it really does depend on the requirements, but a lot of these cloud vendors, headless vendors, are very much aware of these restrictions, limitations, security requirements, and as a result, they have high levels of security certification as well.
So you mean to say that we need to have Azure in on-premise? Is that what you mean?
On-premise, but there is a way of separating that out to almost make it like a private cloud. I can't remember the exact term for it, if that's a requirement.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys? Ooh, all right. There's no questions. Thank you so much for spending your time and joining us today.
Thanks,
To
Akshay.
everyone for joining, and thank you so much, Akshay, for this session. We have another session coming up, I believe in April, which will be announced soon. So again, thanks everyone for joining. We'll be sharing the recording of this session on our channel as well. So thank you and have a nice weekend.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.